Hey guys, the Swede here, and the Swede is finally back to flying the paramotor. I'm very excited about it, and I got to have a fantastic flight here the other day where we had some perfect weather, and also I bought this new 360 camera, which I was able to get some nice footage with, and I've done some editing here, and I thought because the video is quite long, because the scenery was so beautiful, I just don't know what to crop out. So rather than just doing a long voiceover about nothing, I thought I'd do some storytelling during the scenery. And what better story than my comeback after my injury I had 20 months ago. I was a slalom pilot, and I had been competing for 2 seasons. And during my last flight there in August 22, I had something going to my prop, and I did a emergency landing, and upon doing that I completely destroyed my knee, and it's been a very long journey where I almost died to get back into flying. And yeah, so this is just a short intro to the movie, and we'll get to the rest there because I have a lot of nice footage. But I have been flying for some six years, been flying a lot up until the accident, and then I couldn't fly for a year. I spent the better part of 6 months just in bed, not being able to walk. But now I'm having a positive view, and the outcome now is that I'm pretty much back to the basics of how I need to be able to use my leg. I cannot foot launch anymore. I'm a trike pilot. I'm being very careful with my leg, of course, but I'm back to flying, and this is a video about my accident and comeback, and yeah, it's a story for this nice scenery we are going to see. Okay, guys, so enjoy, and cheers. Hey guys, the Swede is here, and the Swede is finally back to flying. Yes! But before we go ahead with this fantastic flight I had just a few days ago, let me take you back some 2 years ago when I was a slalom pilot. I had been flying for 2 years, and this was in August in 22, my last slalom flight and my last competition. What happened was that I had just launched from this site here, and went to the holding area, and there something went into the prop. Later I found out that it was my motor meter that had come loose from my swing arm and went into the prop, and I heard something hitting the prop continuously, and I was really afraid that it was a line, a brake line or something that might wind up and close the wing, and I could fall to the ground. So I went for a emergency landing, and I came in crosswind behind a tree that I will show you soon, and with 45 kilos of motor on your back and this tiny 14-meter wing, I came in really hot, and yeah, it fucked me up. My knee was completely destroyed, and I also broke my leg and tore hamstring and got some serious nerve damage, which I still suffer from. And I was really in a bad place there for a long while. I spent almost a week in a Polish hospital before being busted out by some friends here that drove me back to Sweden to be properly taken care of. And after the operations, I spent like 4 months in bed, and yeah, I was at risk at actually like amputating my foot. And I also got blood clots that went up to my lung, and almost died from that. So it took me about half a year before being able to walk some with the cane. But now, soon coming on 2 years, I am in a very good place actually, and I have a positive view on the whole thing, looking forward. So here we have the clip from the actual flight where the accident happened. My last flight as a slalom pilot, taking off here with the Polini 303, running really fast, with already bad knees, launching my 14-meter snake. And soon you are going to hear as my motometer get into the prop. So at this point I head back to do an emergency landing, and I will cut short of the actual accident because I don't want to see it. And I'll just show you a screenshot of the medics helping me on the ground. Yep, so that's me. On my very worst moment in life, actually, I was in so much pain. But that was then, and now is now. So let's get back to my beautiful flight the other day here. So take off, and as you can see, I am now a Trike pilot. And why not? I use the same slalom machine which I bought for to be able to use it both for slalom and tandems. And I already had the race Trike for it, so it works out perfectly. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the gear that I'm using. I have mentioned the wing and the Trike and the motor in just very briefly, but let's do it from scratch. So I use the Polini 303, which is really meant for tandems and slaloms, and that's why I bought it. It's pretty much the most powerful engine that you can foot launch, really, and it's really pushing it already. But it can be done if you're a strong guy and you don't have too much fuel and you have some wind. It's possible. So the engine, it has a lot of power, and it was quite shocking at the beginning, coming from the nitro. Then I was flying the monster, and then this monster. It really scares you a bit, everything about it in the beginning, the weight and the power, and moreover more so the torque from it. So in the beginning I was very scared to like use full power and stuff, but now I have some 30-40 hours on it, I have gotten used to it. So I use full power quite often, but it becomes a little bit scary if you have full power going straight, trims in. You really get a very steep climbing angle, even with a small wing like this. It's very fuel efficient. I fly it at around maybe 4 liters an hour. You can burn a lot more if you are pushing it all the time, like just climbing, pushing speed bar, going at it. So you can use like maybe 5 liters an hour, but it's still going to be a lot less than if you use like a Moster. I could easily burn like 6-7 liters on a Moster flying in a similar way. So it's a bit more complex engine, of course, being a float bowl carburetor. The tuning is going to be different, but when you get it right, you can pretty much leave it alone. So that's a plus, I guess. It's also water cooled, so you have some more components to keep track of that eventually is going to need service and changing, and also can break, of course. But the water cooling will give you an engine that you can run harder, more reliably. So yeah, and I used the 3-blade E-prop 140 on it, and I guess there's only one video thrust test on it, which showed 126 kilos, which sounds very high, but that's the only one out there. Still, it's going to be one of the absolute most powerful engines that you can foot launch. I would say that if you're not regularly using full speed, flying slalom, yeah, then it's just too much. There's no reason to have this much power, because you are going to suffer from it as well. As I said, from the weight and from the torque. It's going to take quite some time to get used to this power and torque flying. Like when you fly dynamically, like I like to do, you really want to have a neutral flying. You don't want to have to compensate too much for torque, and yeah, torque mainly. I mean, you are going to have a completely different behavior, turning to the right, to the left, depending on which throttle settings you're at. So all of this, you have to just keep practicing and building the muscle memory. So you know, okay, I'm pushing left now. Okay, so I can use a little bit more gas to push me even more to the left. And if you go on the opposite side, the right side, you might even throttle down to get more of that torque compensation built into the frame to go to the right. Also, like I learned all the maneuvers on the Moster pretty much, so it's going to be very different now. You pretty much have to learn everything all over again, because you have that opposite torque. Like I've just gotten back to flying now again, but I'm still just learning the big wing-overs all over again. I don't feel comfortable looping the Trike right now. Of course, I was looping to the right, and now I'm going to have to loop to the left, and I've never looped to the left. So it's an all new maneuver again. Of course, I can do it to the right, but it's going to feel much different. And when you do these kinds of upside down maneuvers, you want to have it all dialed in, feeling perfect. That you know it inside and out, because you don't want to get these maneuvers wrong, then you can be fucked. Okay, so that's that about the engine, I guess. Yeah, flying with the Polini throttle here. I've ordered the off-grid one. It's going to come in a week or two. Everything is up to personal preference, especially so when you fly dynamically and you fly slalom. Then it becomes very important which toggle you use, exact brake and tip steering lengths, which gloves you use, and the toggles that you use, and the throttle. Everything is going to have a big effect. So like now, for example, I used just loop toggles just to have a lot of room for winter gloves, and it's a little bit better, I think, for doing the maneuvers. But as soon as I go on speed bar, I wish I had the slalom toggles, which are much safer to use, so you can be sure that you use only tip steering. So yeah, those personal preferences are unique and personal, of course, and you have to just try a lot of stuff to get a feel for what you like. Okay, and then we have the frame. So I fly the Liberty race frame, which is meant for slalom, and what that really comes down to is that there's a forward leaning angle to the frame of this motor, which means that in neutral position it's going to be angled more forward than a normal straight paramotor. And this is great for slalom, but not very comfortable flying like normally, and also for dynamic flying. But I've gotten used to it now. I've actually I have a very different hand position. Yeah, you can see it from this angle that I'm leaning quite backwards. It looks quite normal, and this is because I've changed the hang points. But as soon as I give it a bit of throttle, you're going to see that it starts to push me forward, lean forward. But in this position, everything is just more comfortable flying non-slalom. You're going to be in a more lean back position in your harness, and your risers are not going to be pushing you against your shoulder. You're going to be able to hold your brakes for a longer time before you are exhausted in your shoulders. Yeah, the maneuvers are going to feel a lot better. So I've tried all the settings. Of course, I have the what's it called? I have the total control. Yeah, that's what it's called on Liberty. So I can change everything about the hang points and heights and up and down on the frame and the widths and everything. So I have tried so many settings, but now I feel it's quite good, and I don't feel the urge to try something new. So I guess that means I have found the right positions, the right position for what I'm doing. It's a race trike in every regard, so it's going to be, everything is very light and thin, not very sturdy, but it has to be sturdy enough, and I think it is. You can't have everything in a paramotor, and you have to make prioritization as to what's important, and weight is very important here, of course. I have the Dudek Lights harness, which is not only lighter, but it's better for speed bar use than the original Dudek and any other harness. It comes with really a good design for how the speed bar is run, where the pulleys are located, and of course I have changed to larger pulleys, both the bottom ones and the rear ones. So I use 30 Ronstun in the back and 20 Ronstuns in the front. So I have a really smooth pulley. And when you do that, you should also change to a thicker speed bar line, so the line diameter fits better in the larger pulleys. So I use it's a 3mm polyester line, just bought from some boat shop. Yeah, so that's that about the frame. And yeah, and then we have Trike. I have mentioned some stuff about the Trike, and it's just working. It's probably going to be the best Trike in the air. You're not going to feel really any difference foot flying or trike flying using this Trike. Maybe just a minor difference, which is really hard to specify what the difference is. But if you fly back to back foot launching, and with this Trike, you're going to feel that something is a little bit different, but it's not that you feel that it's really worse, and it's just different. But of course, for launches and landings, it's going to take off all of that weight on your legs, and when you get older and you have many of us have bad knees, as guys having lived a life full of adventure and doing all kinds of sports, we are going to have pretty much all of us bad knees. So I really think that most pilots will eventually go over to Trikes, just to have that safety margin, really. I can still, or not can still, I have not been able to foot launch, of course, after my accident, but now, coming up on 2 years, I can foot launch, but I really need a lot of wind. So strong reverse kiteball winds, and I have to be 100% sure that the winds are not going to die, because the launch is even worse on my legs. The other day I was out flying without a Trike, and even though there was reverse launchable wind coming in to land, I still just was so scared and thought it was going too quick. So I had like 8 landings that I aborted before I eventually just had to land, and I was so close to biffing it. Yeah, and about the construction of the Trike, it's quite flimsy, and so as you can see, the wheelbase is really short and narrow, both the width and the length, so it's going to be quite wobbly on ground. The fit and finish from new, the tolerance was so tight that I could almost not assemble it, but now just some 30-40 hours on it's really loose now, so everything is just even more wobbly. But yeah, you have to have some experience and just dial in everything, and then it's going to work still. Make sure that you Loctite all the bolts. I think my like second or third flight, when I had landed on the Trike, I pushed down on the wheel, and it was about to come loose. and that's not going to be fun for you if you come in landing like 50-60 kilometers an hour and you only have the one wheel on the rear. So make sure you lock tight all of the bolts. Since I did that after my few first flights, nothing has come loose. I also put some of that latex milk in my tires. They are, there's tubes in the, I'm pretty sure they have tubes, but still I put the milk in just to make sure that they resist flats better. What else about the Trike? It's quite fast to assemble and disassemble. You're probably going to want to do some have some tools and wooden pieces and stuff like that, just to get the assembly more easy doing it alone. So I had like a box that I assembled the Trike on and disassemble just to make it easier. But now I just leave the Trike on and just put the whole thing on my rack, and I have 4 ratchet straps, and it's just as fast to fix on my rack with the Trike on actually, and it sits there even more stable because with the wheel axles that you can ratchet down, you have going to have more leverage. So I feel even a bit more safe now, driving a little bit quicker with the car, knowing that the Trike is better fixed to my rack. So that works out fine. And about some of the other gears, I change a lot and try a lot, but right now I fly with the Anubis helmet. I think it looks really good. Maybe one of the absolute best looking helmets with the internal air protection. And it's an integral helmet with a visor, so it's really good in the winter. I have the brown visor here, which works very well in the sun, not so well in sunsets and stuff like that when it's just cloudy, but it works well enough even then. But it really helps a lot with the cold and the wind to have a visor. I also have a Bluetooth sound system here. The sound is not that great every time you have the speakers, because you don't get that snug close fit to your ears. Earbuds are always going to be better, but there are other problems with earbuds, them coming loose and you losing sound completely in your one ear or something like that. So there's pros and cons with everything, but I cannot use earbuds with an integral helmet here because they just push my buds out when I put the helmet on. So everything else is just layered clothes and electrical gloves, of course, very important. I think this flight was actually -degrees up here, and I can dress like this with this gear. I can like withstand maximum an hour before I'm just a frozen piece of ice and have to land. Okay. I forgot to mention some of the problems with the torque compensation here with this motor and this frame. So I think when you have this strong motor with the most torque effect, you really do benefit if you have dynamic torque compensation, meaning some airfoils, and you want them to be airfoils, not just winglets that deflect air. Those are not efficient enough. So you want to have airfoils like Scout has. McFly also have them, but they are not airfoils. They are just like wind deflectors. On this Liberty frame, Liberty don't use dynamic compensation, and yeah, you can just see how twisted I am at this point. To be able to compensate for max power, there's just so much offset built in to the frame that when you use any lower throttle settings, you're going to be turning to the opposite side. And if you go quickly from full power to no power, it's just going to throw you around very violently. So I would say that if I go off power completely and stay neutral with weight shift, it's the wingtip is coming down to the horizon. It's going to be that much torque working. So you have to dial in the offsets so it works the best considering how you fly, but it's never going to be good. So I'm looking to fix some dynamic compensation. There are some options out there, not very attractive looking, but there are guys doing the airfoil wings that can assemble to this frame as well. I want to try that, get rid of some of this torque and torque compensation. But having that said, from my first flight to how I perceive it all now, it's much better. I am getting used to even that characteristic. So it doesn't bother me as much now as it did in my earlier flights. But it's still there. It doesn't mean it has gone away. It just means that I have gotten used to it. So I pretty much expect that if I assemble some dynamic compensation and get rid of that characteristic, it's going to be shockingly how nice it's going to be to have a neutral engine. Okay, so I can also mention some things about the kind of flights that I'm doing here, what I'm thinking and how it feels. This is a perfect day for flying, low winds, blue skies and low clouds, and those are the best flights in my opinion. And this being in the winter time, the clouds are really smooth, and you don't get any turbulence pretty much from them, so you can just fly around how you want, as close as you want. Here in Sweden, to stay legal, we can fly around them close like this at low level, but you'll always have to be able to see ground. It doesn't have to be exactly below you, but you have to be able to visually like locate yourself around the clouds, not to become lost, to have a visual reference to the ground, and being able to glide out in free air if your motor quits on you. Being completely in a whiteout inside a cloud feels quite scary. You will immediately feel very disorientated. So that's not good. But like this, it's just perfect. I can see the ground at places all the time. So this is just fantastic conditions to fly. And you always see this halo that you see in front there. Okay, so now it's my second flight for the day, being later and close to sunset. So the visuals are even more beautiful, you might say. Yeah, and this is I think my first flights this day in my new Insta camera, which give really cool angles of view like this. I am trying different assemblies. One of the flights here I assembled the stick, fixed it on my swing arm, and the second flight I just sat on it, being able to put it in some different locations. So either way, it's quite a bit of a hassle, this selfie stick. More so with this setup, engine and wing, than with others, because everything is just so dynamically, so you don't want to fiddle too much with not having your hands on the brakes and the throttle on and off while you fiddle with a selfie stick. And also I fly so fast with this setup, so if you like extend the selfie stick fully on either side, it's just going to catch a lot of wind, and yeah, it's just a hassle. It's not something you are going to want to do every flight, but sometimes when you have really beautiful scenery like this, and you want to get these cool third-person views, it's really awesome, I think. One angle that I have yet to capture on video is going to be when I have it hanging straight down, so it takes video from below and up, and doing a loop and big wing-overs with that shot is going to be fantastic, and almost a look that one never sees. Okay, so we have it go on speed bar here. So I really have to be careful that I keep my hands on the risers, making sure that I have no main brake applied. So I make sure that I feel the risers on both my hands before pushing the speed bar. But the speed bar flying is really much easier and safer using separate tip steering toggles or slalom toggles. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm here in post and filming this outro now for the last few minutes that we have left. So I didn't mention much about the wing in the video, but I'm using here the warp, the original warp 1 15 meter. I also have the freeride original one 15 meter and my slalom snake XX 14 meter. The 14 meter I don't fly outside slalom. The freeride I would in the past choose when I wanted a bit more safer wing and an easier launching wing. But for now on the Trike I am exclusively using the warp. It has such a nice feeling in the air, and being on the Trike I don't have a problem running anymore, so I prefer the warp in the air. I always did. The freeride is only better on the ground, and also I felt a little bit more safe on it, so if I want to try a new maneuver or something like that, so I would use it. So for now I will keep on flying my warp. However, I do think I actually would need a larger size. Now being this heavily loaded, I'm probably upwards 150 kilo on this 15 meter. So I mean, it works fine, and with this much power I can climb any wing. But swoopier maneuvers becomes more fun when you have a little bit more lift in your wing and longer lines. So especially wing overs are more fun on a bit larger wing. So a small wing like this is the best for fast rolling when you want to flick it around. So for looping it's perfect, but for everything else you really want to have a little bit bigger wing. So my next big project that I'm looking forward to is this summer, if perhaps I would have the balls to even attempt doing the rocket loop and being the first trike flyer doing the loop. I think some tens of people now have done the rocket loop foot launched. It was something I always dreamed about in the past, being the first. But Dimitris was the first one, and then some people quickly followed after, and now quite a few people have done it foot launched. So looking forward to that. But for now, Swede signing out. Thank you for watching, and cheers!